right, guys, welcome back to another video. Today's going to be a very big day in the PlayStation world. We'll have some information to talk about that tomorrow, but there was an announcement that we will go over in today's video. Also, we have some interesting information here about a brand new Xbox studio that has opened up a while ago. We did talk about it there, but they are expanding, looking to create a new franchise, a franchise that will have an enduring legacy. So we'll talk about that and many other things. But before we continue, if you do enjoy daily gaming news, content, Xbox news, all of that stuff, hit the like, subscribe, share the video. Also check out my link to my Spotify in the description. So Elsewhere, this is a brand new studio that opened up under Xbox first party studios called Elsewhere Entertainment. It is under Activision specifically if you're breaking it up via the divisions, and it is based in Poland, and they're working on brand new AAA narrative led game, and they're saying here that they want to make this a game that has an enduring legacy. And since they've opened up, they are expanding. So this is something that is, I think, in full throttle right now to get a team to really start developing this game and get it out there for people to be able to play. It says today Activision unveiled 20 new positions within Elsewhere, including an expansion to Sweden as well. So a very big expansion. And they say Sweden is a global leader in game development featuring DICE, which as we know for Battlefield, Ubisoft Massive for the Division 2, as well as Star Wars Outlaws that just came out, Mojang, Minecraft, of course, and that is an Xbox first party game. And they say here that they've recently boosted its mobile games team within Blizzard to comprise of King veterans. So we don't know exactly the style of game this is going to be other than AAA narrative led, probably action adventure type of experience, which is kind of what they do need here in their repertoire. They need something like a Hellblade 2, but I would say that is expanded out. Like Hellblade 2 was a beautiful piece of work in terms of graphics and what they were able to show off and showcase what they could do with all the technology and sound and all that type of stuff. But I think they need something like that that's longer and that has more scope in the gameplay itself to compete with what PlayStation has on their side with things like God of War and with games like Uncharted and stuff like that in The Last of Us. So I think that's a huge step forward for them to open the studio and then continue to try to build something along those lines. As a few weeks ago, Microsoft subsidiary and prolific mega publisher Activision unveiled Elsewhere Entertainment unexpectedly out of nowhere. And this was all along the times that we saw all of these closures and layoffs and everything, although Microsoft did have their closures and layoffs, this was at a point where there was just tons happening in other places within the industry. And then you see Elsewhere Entertainment pop up, and they say, built from the ground up, Elsewhere Entertainment is a premier and standalone studio dedicated to establishing an environment that inspires bold and diverse ideas. The team's underlying mission encourages everyone to explore and collaborate creatively to craft a franchise with an enduring legacy that resonates far beyond games. And they have people who have worked on games like The Last of Us, Uncharted, The Witcher, Cyberpunk, Destiny, Tom Clancy's The Division, and Far Cry. And you can see here everything that they are looking for: art positions, tech art positions, design positions, as well as coding positions. So they are going hard here. They are trying to make something that will stand out in this very convoluted and filled industry that we do have with games coming out left, right, and center. So pretty excited to see what Elsewhere Studio is all about and exactly what they are working on. Who knows when it will be? Maybe at next year's Xbox showcase it will get unveiled, and then we will get an idea as to what is to come. Okay, let's talk PlayStation here. We'll start off with the weird and bad news. And that is that they are raising the prices of the DualSense controllers by $5. And this was caught here by Wario64. You can see here that some of them are $74.99, and I believe previously that they were $69.99. These are just the regular black and white controllers. And then you have these, I guess, special edition or different colored controllers that are now $79.99, which I believe previously were $74.99. So it's been a very, very odd generation from the console side of things. We are 4 years into this generation, and I've spoken on this previously, but generally you see a price cut here, and you see a permanent price cut to try to push out as much inventory as possible as we near the end of this gen and get as many people into the ecosystem so that they are locked in for the future. And it also comes with a release of a slim console, which we've already seen, or comes with a release of a pro console, which we're going to see today. All of these things play into the base console pricing go down, but we are seeing the exact opposite. They've raised prices of the base consoles. Now they're raising prices of the controller. So when we hear this announcement today, which will be coming for the PlayStation 5 Pro, it's going to be extremely interesting to see how much that thing does cost. This was the tweets that PlayStation put out yesterday saying, tune in tomorrow for a PlayStation 5 technical presentation hosted by Mark Cerny. The 9-minute stream begins September 10th at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you may be watching this video after that, this may be old news, but we are going to get the full details here on the future of the technical side of PlayStation, the hardware side. PS5 Pro, maybe some surprises. Maybe we get a new DualSense controller with some updates, and maybe something crazy happens and they announce something about some handheld. Who knows? But I think it's just going to be the PlayStation 5 Pro. We also even just saw the actual video leaked, you could say. It was unlisted on YouTube, and it's literally called the PlayStation 5 Pro. The worst held secret in gaming has been the PS5 Pro. We've seen the specs, we've seen the look of it. Everything that you really want to know about the PS5 Pro, I think, is pretty much already out there. This is the look. Basically, they teased this during their 30th anniversary edition. Looks like a normal PlayStation 5 with 3 black lines cutting across the middle of it. So not a huge change in the design, just more power under the hood. And we'll see how this thing sells. We'll see what it's priced at. That's going to be the big thing. I'm thinking that $700 price tag is where it's going to be at, depending on how many versions they have. But if you're looking at the current price of the PS5, they've raised that in certain regions. They're not cutting the price of it. They're going to have to price the PS5 Pro at a decent amount higher than it to show the premiumness of it, as well as to make up for obviously the extra cost that goes in to creating the PS5 Pro. Very interesting generation of consoles. The Pro version, we'll see how it does. I think it's going to be mainly for enthusiasts. I'm sure it'll sell out, but that will be the enthusiasts right at the start. And then we'll see if it does end up having any sort of longevity in sales. And how will this affect games going forward? Will there be a huge jump here from, specifically, I would say the Xbox Series X, which is right now the most powerful console on the market, versus the PS5 Pro in frame rates and visual fidelity? And one of those games that should be taking a massive advantage of the PS5 Pro is going to be Grand Theft Auto 6. We talked about this yesterday, about a potential delay, and I was very adamant that this is just a rumor right now. We have no idea if any of this is true. Yeah, this guy here on Twitter who had announced a couple days ago that he had heard from sources that he trusts, multiple sources that he trusts, that GTA 6 had an internal delay. And it looks like that is not the case. He was given bad information and was pushing it as something that he was sure was going to be the case. Now he tweets this out saying, cutting ties with those employees. On the plus side, at least we won't have to wait another year. I'll take the L with this. And you've seen many people corroborating here that there is no current internal delay here for GTA 6. It is still on track for the 2025 release. Jason Schreier on the rumors of the GTA 6 delay says here, the internet and my DMs blew up this weekend over a rumor that GTA 6 is delayed. Good news is that 6 Rockstar employees all told me they have not heard of any delay. Bad news, it's a big ambitious game and could very well slip. Too much time left to say anything definitive. So it's not out of the question. It could still get delayed, but as of right now, that does not seem like it is the case. So if you're worried about GTA 6 being delayed, it looks like right now it isn't, and that brings into question again what we talked about a couple of days ago, the whole marketing rates for the PS5 Pro. That's going to be a massive thing, I think, for PlayStation, for them to try to get the marketing rates for GTA 6 so that they can push it on that console, it being more powerful than any other console out there, and show the power that it can do to bring those games to life versus playing it on the base PS5 or the Xbox Series X. And that's one of those games that is a game changer. GTA 6 is a game changer. It's a Call of Duty style of game with the amount of money it brings in and the amount of people that play it. And it's a game that lasts cross generations. We'll see GTA 6 on these next generation of consoles whenever those end up coming. So if you are excited about GTA, you don't have to wait, I think, until 2026 to play it based off of the current rumors surrounding the game. Now let's jump over here. Ubisoft. There's some crazy stuff going on at Ubisoft. There could be some big shakeups coming in the future because of the stock prices and just the lack of success of some of their recent games. Star Wars Outlaws, one of those. And I'm a big fan of Star Wars Outlaws. I've played, I would say, about 30, 40 hours of it so far. I think it's a very, very fun game. I think it's kind of gotten some unfair criticisms in certain areas, but then in other areas, definitely some warranted criticisms, like some of the technical issues that happened at launch was an issue that I would say wait until it's been completely updated. But if you love the Star Wars universe and you love exploring and just seeing all the nitty gritty stuff of that world, I think Massive did a very good job of building the world, and the game gets better as you explore, but it did not sell up to expectations. And this is always going to have a negative effect on the companies that are creating these games, especially when you're signing a license agreement with a huge IP like Star Wars. I'm sure they have to pay a ton of money to get that done. And we have seen this reflected in the Ubisoft share prices plunging. And investors are now urging the company to go private, which is pretty crazy. They're hoping to save the longevity of Ubisoft by making this move. It says the Assassin's Creed publisher share price fell almost 10% during trading today before closing down to 7.13% at $13.67 or euros per share. It has fallen more than 50% over the last 12 months and now sits close to a 10-year low. Not good. You're going to see changes at Ubisoft absolutely because of this. And it says on Monday, hedge fund AJ Investments published the open letter calling for strategic and structural changes at Ubisoft. It urged the board to consider taking the company private, implement a comprehensive cost reduction program, and optimize staffing levels to be more comparable with industry leaders, which would mean many layoffs, potentially studio closures, potentially IP cancellations. That's basically what that is saying. And increase its focus on core IPs and consider replacing current CEO Yves Guillemot, which would mean just seeing the same thing churned out over and over and over again. And one of the things Ubisoft, I think, did great this year was give us a variety with a game like Prince of Persia, side-scrolling game, really, really good game, but I just don't think it sold well enough. People were complaining that Ubisoft does the same thing. They gave something different with that Prince of Persia game, and it just commercially, I don't think, did well enough, which is unfortunate because it is a phenomenal game. It also says here, Slovakia-based AG Investments holds less than 1% in Ubisoft, according to Wall Street Journal. And the creative director of Star Wars Outlaws had said he was a little disappointed with the review scores for the game itself. And they're also making some changes to Outlaws with reducing the stealth difficulty. So there's a lot of changes happening, but we'll see if this has any effect, if this persuades Ubisoft to go private, and what this would mean for the future of franchises, for the future of the studios there. It could end up having some pretty negative effects because of the recent performance of a game like Star Wars Outlaws. Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be massive. I think that one will sell very well because it is a major, major franchise, but there's all of that campaign against it, hoping it will fail because Yasuke as the main protagonist, if you've seen any of that stuff online, which may have an effect on people going out and playing and buying that game. All right, jumping over here, let's talk some VR because the Meta Quest 3S has seemingly leaked pictures of the headsets, has come out, and they did it themselves on their PC app, where you could go in there and I guess find these pictures of this headset. It is going to be that more budget-friendly VR headset that Meta does release. Not a huge change here in the design and everything. One of the things is the cameras. They have 3 cameras clustered together on the front of it rather than the 3 pill-shaped camera cutouts like on the current Meta Quest. And there's rumors here that it is going to be around $300 at entry price to get into VR gaming, and they may sell it without controllers. So it looks pretty cool, a good price. VR gaming is very immersive. If you haven't tried it, I would suggest it at some point, giving it a go to see if it's something you like, because it really does blow you away for the first couple of times that you do play it. There's also some accessories here that have already been listed for the Quest 3S. So this thing is imminent and should be announced sometime soon. And finally, some more layoffs. Another Embracer studio, Lost Boy Interactive, has been hit with layoffs. Embracer has been terrible since they purchased all those companies. They did a whole restructuring, and they were saying that that was going to be the end of the layoffs and just the negative things happening to the studios that they did acquire. And obviously that has not been the case. I believe this is not the first one that has happened since the restructuring, but they say here, On Friday afternoon, the co-developers known to work on games like Tiny Tina's Wonderland, Diablo 4, and more announced on their LinkedIn. They've worked on a bunch of games. They say here, I've made the very difficult decision to reduce its overall headcount. And in their post, they say it's directly influenced by the projects and priorities of our development clients, and that the shifting market has forced the company to reassess its operations. So there's more job cuts coming. And another one from the Embracer Group, which is just a continuation of how crazy 2024 has been with the industry, I think, shrinking back down more to normal. I don't think this is a industry that is in real trouble. I think more so than anything that it really expanded over the pandemic. A lot of people overhired and thought the gaming was going to grow faster than it has. And now that things are back to normal, you're seeing kind of shrink back down. And unfortunately, a lot of people have lost their job. But I'll end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up if you're new, or hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.